Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Forget We Said That. My name is Relytan,
I'm Alyssa Riot.
And I'm Legion Lion.
and today we've got a bit of a movie uh review segment. I guess it's just the theme of the show. We watched The Invisible Man from 2020, and well, I know that uh, me and Alyssa and Legion watched it, and plus Alyssa's, well, you go ahead and talk about that as well, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, my partner Brandon was with us because I promised him I would watch it when it came out 4 years ago and never got around to it. So when the fellas were like, hey, let's watch this movie, I was like, would you like to watch this with me and my friends? He was like, wow, okay. But it was pretty fun. I liked it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, Legion is kind of has kind of an outline for us, and we were gonna go ahead and kind of go through some of it. But yeah, go ahead, Legion. What did you think of it?
Well, first, I wanted to do like a movie club for like the longest time, and after we did our kind of our favorite movies podcast, I felt like it was like a no-brainer. We can like talk about movies on end, especially horror movies, which this one was. So this is like my way of like having like a cool like thing to do like every once in a while to just talk about movies, whatever kind of movies, whatever genres, cause we can definitely like not shut up about certain stuff for
True,
sure.
true, true.
But on to the Invisible Man. I really liked it. I came out of it like twice after I watched it last night. Really liking it. Just everything from like the acting. There's not too much characters in this movie. Rewatching it, like there's maybe like 10 people that have dialogue, not including like the Lyft driver and all these
Right.
other like side
The classic
characters.
2020
Especially
shot
like
film.
yeah, classic 2020. Especially like Elizabeth Moss.
Hmm.
She's a really good actress. I haven't
She is.
watched Handmaid's Tale. I keep getting it recommended to me by a lot of people, but
Yeah, me either.
I can see why people recommend it because she's a phenomenal actor.
Hmm.
I liked that like a lot of the shots are like either open spaces of just like nothing background, just to give you like the illusion that there's someone always there, and vice versa. There's like a lot of POV shots of like someone like just quietly observing like CC throughout the movie,
Hmm.
and it honestly doesn't overstay its welcome. I feel like from the beginning all the way up until the end, there's always there's always something happening, and with like a 2 hour runtime, which is it's very solid movie. But that's
Yeah.
my spoiler free review of it. I really liked it. I enjoyed watching it, and I wish I watched it earlier. Honestly.
For
Mm.
sure. We all
Yeah.
kind of had that feeling. We all said we were going to watch it at one
Yes.
point, and then we never did, and then so it was perfect for all three of us.
Yeah, definitely. I liked it a lot. It was not what I expected, for sure.
Okay.
Not what I expected. Like I knew a little bit about the movie, but yeah, the turn that it took I did not think that was coming. And I liked the way that it was shot too, and I liked that it was so eerie in the beginning. Like it could almost be like a haunted like ghost movie, the way
Mm-hmm.
that they presented that. I was like, oh, this is like really creepy. And then I don't know, I love the house, like the rich guy's house. Sick.
Oh yeah.
Like if when I think about the movie, I just keep thinking because he was an architect, right?
Did we?
He was a scientist about optics. She was an architect.
She was the
Yeah.
architect.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, that house was sick.
I wonder. Yeah. I wonder if they just kind of
Yeah.
threw that in there, just because they wanted to shoot at a cool place, and it's like, oh, she could be an
Yeah.
architecture person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Did we ever confirm whether that was like filmed in like Australia or something? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, it was.
Like the whole
Like
thing?
kind of doing a little bit of research. Yeah, a lot of it's in Canada and Australia because tax reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I heard at the time, yeah, COVID time, uh, around that time, it was like it's just easier to like reshoot things over on theirs because like the restrictions for
Right.
filming wasn't as harsh, because there was like during COVID when people were trying to film movies, the thing that got people a lot was the insurance you had to get for filming because of the sickness that was going around. So that ended up being very expensive, and Canada and Australia were just a little bit cheaper for people to
Right.
actually just go over there and film.
Huh.
Lots of crazy stuff happened during that time. Totally. That's it's an interesting fact. But I guess to get my kind of thoughts on it, I was also very pleasantly. I wouldn't say surprised, but I was pleasantly entertained for sure. And I was happy I waited to watch it. It was good, and it was fun to watch with people. Throughout, we'll get more into it, but like throughout when we were watching it, like I really started noticing how it was shot, like you said, and like the fact that the movie was shot with the idea that there's an invisible person in the shots in the and that was really cool. There's a few times when like the focus would go off and on, and I really liked that because it was, I think, trying to portray that it was focusing on the invisible man, and so I thought that was kind of brilliant, honestly. And there was some other shots that I'm sure we'll get to, right? That impressed us, and so I would, yeah, my review is very very good, better than Smile.
I still haven't seen that.
I mean, it would be a funny one to riff off again now that we can. I think I was wanting to
now
riff
that we're
off
a little
it
bit
in the
removed
theater,
from
but
it.
it was like this would be awkward.
Okay.
But yeah, no, very very good. Invisible Man, Elizabeth Moss, very talented. Though, pretty much everybody in the movie was had good talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jackson Cohen, the guy who plays Adrian, the Invisible Man. He's not on screen, obviously, too much in a movie, but every time he's very like off-putting. Like there's like a weird like intensity in his
Yeah.
eyes that he always like
He
has
looks
on camera.
He's
where
a
you're
predator.
Like, yeah,
he
like
has that.
yeah. If I didn't know this guy, I would also think he was like a weird like abusive, controlling person.
His brother
But that's just
too.
good acting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Like-
in a different way, but in a similar
In
way.
a different way. But yeah, like when because his brother we see more often, but
No
I was
spoilers.
just like, God, I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy.
But
you know?
yeah, I mean, but yeah, no, I feel like I kind of jumped right in through the intro, right into our discussion of it. But like, I don't know, maybe we just take a breath. And I know that Legion has a list of kind of what we want to talk about. I don't
You know,
kind of want
Legion's
to.
got his notes.
Yeah, the Legion has his
if
notes.
You
Me
see
and
my
me and
Google Docs,
Alyssa.
it looks like a Unabomber notepad because
Yeah.
there's just like so much
Pepe Sylvia.
He's
documentation.
got pictures on his wall with some red
Yeah,
wire.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
Pepe
if
Sylvia.
I had if I could do a PowerPoint, if I had time, I would run you guys through it, because doing the research and like listening to a couple of interviews, like these guys what's it called? It's directed by Lay. I keep messing up his name. I have a pronunciation somewhere, like Lay Wannen. He's James Wan's best friend. He worked on things like Insidious, the Saw series. Regretfully, he also did The Bye Bye Man, which wasn't a great movie, but
I
he's a seasoned Blumhouse like director writer,
Yeah.
because he's just been around the space for so long, and he did like a very very good job. Just kind of to outline this, back in like 2020, like Universal tried to do like a whole like monster universe thing, kind of similar to like what Marvel and DC were doing at the time, where they got a whole bunch of characters to kind of be in one movie and like create like a big story around it. It failed, obviously. Dracula Untold. I'm not sure if you
I
guys
remember
watched
this.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Very,
but I
like-
remember this drama.
Yeah, very forgettable movie. Luke Evans, the guy who played Dracula, tried his best, but that's another story. Like they tried to throw a bunch of money at it too. It had like a $70 million budget, but it didn't kind of work. And then they tried to do The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Also, kind of forgettable movie, $125 million budget, and it just kind of like flopped. So it was like their way of trying to reintroduce like classic movie monsters with Dracula, The Mummy, and of course the Invisible Man. But ultimately, like no one really cared, and the stories weren't that great anyway. The thing that I think kind of failed for them was that they were trying to make like big action movies out of these things, which isn't really in the spirit of the classic movie monsters. I think horror and like talking about how people deal with like monsters in their society like fits it better, and that's what this Invisible Man kind of brought back. with this movie. Like they reduced the budget by like a lot. This was like a $7 million budget, which is kind of crazy to me. I know how we like pointed out like a lot of set pieces are just like indoor shots, so like whether it's
Right.
like in the house. Spoiler parts, by the way. just
Oh yeah.
just
Okay.
we're getting to the
Entering
spoiler territory
spoilers.
to anyone who's listening. But yeah, like a lot of like interior shots, a lot of like office high rises. There's no like really big action stuff like you saw in those other movies I mentioned, where there's like explosions, there's like big castles and stuff like that. It's very like tamed movie, and that's what I thought like made it better. It's very like intimate. Not much characters are really ever involved in this movie. I think like 10 or so, and I think it really brought back like a thriller horror side, which honestly for the Invisible Man is like the best.
So did you? Yeah. So did you want to go through kind of like what the some of your first bullet points and kind of how they're laid out? Because like I said before the show, I think me and Alyssa can like riff off this. Oh, I was also going to say that me and Alyssa, we don't take notes. I think we were the bad students in school.
Right up here.
Yeah.
We're keeping it up here.
It's a steel
all
trap.
in the noggin.
Yep.
I was gonna say, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, did you rewatch it? Yes, in the theater of my imagination.
Yes. I thought about
in
it really
my
hard.
dreams, I
Yeah.
rewatched it. Actually, it's funny. Like I think like last night when I was rewatching, I kind of like fell asleep like halfway through. So I got woken up by like when like the third act hit
Oh God.
again, and it was like super crazy. But yeah, just not to get too much into like a film student like perspective, but
Sure.
I like that this movie is like really not about the Invisible Man. Kind of crazy enough, even though like the movie's titled about it. It's like mostly about Cece dealing with abusive relationship or like the fallout of like her abusive relationship. And I think the director Lee does a really good job of like not really like focusing on that. I think he just lets like Elizabeth Moss just do her thing and just convey like what it's like to be post abusive relationship, right? With even the concept, right? People like you always feel like you're being watched by your abuser. Your abuser always tries to like isolate you from other people, like trying to get you away from people that would make you see sense. And honestly, like the stalker angle that the movie took is like probably the smartest choice.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Right. It's
I don't know, Alyssa. It's kind of your like field, so I don't know if you
Yeah.
yeah, any thoughts about that.
Absolutely. I think they did a really good job doing that. I think she did a good job portraying someone going through that is left, an abusive relationship, and it's like you do have like a small amount of support sometimes from people, but I think the best part and what resonated is like the people around her not understanding why she's so scared, because they were not in it. They just go, oh, well, you're away from him. Like, get over it. Things are better now. What did he say? It's been a week. It's been 2 weeks. Go outside. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, like people
they keep telling her like, oh, don't let Adrian's like control you. Even though in the movie like he dies, quotation marks, right? Like,
right.
Don't let him control you. It's like just don't do it. Basically, that's what they're saying, right? Just don't do it. Just don't.
And that's
feel
what people
abused.
will tell you. If you act afraid, then you're giving him power, and it's like people don't understand what it's like to really go through it. It's scary. Like, sometimes when people are coming out of relationships like that, they don't even want to drive by a town that person lives in because it's so scary. So I think they did a really good job with that. I mean, and I haven't seen Handmaid's Tale. My mom has, and she says it's really good. People have been telling me to watch it forever. So I think she's got a little bit of experience, too, in that realm, like of portraying someone that's like under abusive male power, So I liked that. And what else did I like about it? The guy that is supportive, I like that she's like, even though he's like this big, strong guy, she's scared for him too, because she's like, you've got no fucking idea.
Yeah.
And he's hot, so whatever.
Yeah. Well, we knew that.
Yeah. We all thought it.
We were all thinking it.
Yeah.
Actually, like the whole cast is like weirdly attractive for an abuse movie.
I know, right? I'm like, damn, everybody's so hot, right?
I definitely.
Even Adrian's kind of like you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see it.
I see why they got together. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right. No, it's an
Yeah.
it's an allegory. It really is, because when you think about the Invisible Man, it's like that could mean a lot of things in an abusive relationship. The man who the abuser, the invisible abuser, like the kind of the man who puts on kind of a show of not being abusive when he is, like
Charming.
kind of that,
Yeah.
and that's like the invisible kind of man, right? And so
Yeah.
it's a good allegory. And even when you're technically like not living with like an abuser, or you know what I mean, like they still are there in your life. They're invisible.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that was the choice being made, and it was well done. It really was. I mean, it's not flawless for a movie, but I think the vision got through very well. I think I can see where the storyboard was written up, or however that works, how the script was kind of laid out, and it kind of it did succeed for the most part. So like and it was definitely written from probably a pretty educated view, like Alyssa was saying. Maybe she speaks better to that, but an educated kind of view of situations like that. And then you kind of make an interesting plot around it, and make a little sci-fi, and do some neat twists. And it was it did a good job with that without going too overboard. we were thinking, I think, some of the time, where I mean the invisible suit itself is like some crazy bit of sci-fi in like this kind of like pretty grounded story.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's probably the craziest thing. But yeah, that's a good point, Aqua. I think like in my notes, like when I was when we were watching it together as a movie, I thought like, oh, like a lot of people will see like the Invisible Man, Adrian's character, like as a brilliant scientist who created this suit that like probably won a bunch of awards and makes millions of dollars, but like no one will ever realize that he's like an abusive bastard, like in his home life.
Right, because he's rich and good looking, and to everyone else he's like this charming individual, and that's always what it is. That's always some abuser or a narcissistic person is like they have a front for everybody, right? And that's what charmed her, but and I think they go on like, why me, why does he pick me? But like narcissists and people that are abusive, they actually seek out people like that, people who have a little bit of low confidence and things like that. And I love that they kind of like detail that, because she asks him to, why me, and he tells me I'm the most beautiful person in the world. And I think what really resonated with me is she has a line, and she says, this is what he does, he makes me feel like I'm crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this hits. Yep. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, so basically, just to outline it for everybody, I kind of broke this into acts, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I really liked Act 1, just like even the beginning sequence was really good, because like it conveys like so much without even saying a word, right? Like about the relationship, like more than you can put in words. All like the security cameras are inside the house, right? Usually you expect like cameras outside, of course, in a like an expensive like neighborhood, just to watch for any robbers. But like all the cameras are pointed inwards, which, funny enough, kind of plays into the suit too. The later you find out the suit is a whole bunch of cameras like set up around, like to give like the illusion like that it's like always watching as well, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah.
What's it called? The fact that like it is a lavish, like high expensive house, but it's very isolated from everybody else, right? Like there's no neighbors around in like from what you can see inside the movie. Like I believe when she's actually running away from Adrian, like there's a concrete like wall that lines the whole property, like just to play further into like you can't escape me, like I'm always doing something to keep you away from other people. And also like it shows up with the dog Zeus, the Doberman. like I didn't notice this before, but the dog has like a heavy shock collar like around
sure,
it, and it's
okay.
always like wearing it throughout the whole movie, like just to play in like to the fact where like Adrian just cannot be like without control. He has to
Yeah.
be in control of everything.
That's what
I
that
thought
second
that was
watch
like
will do for you. Dang.
Yeah, and that's true too because he has the house. It's sat on cliffside. So like there's one that's the ocean and then a cliff and then the other is like a huge concrete wall. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just very eerie,
That's a good point. I mean, I do like that. First of all, the isolated house is something that I kind of, that's definitely a, uh, an important thing. And like, yeah, it's definitely deliberately chosen, and that's something I kind of caught. But I do like what you said about the camera's pointed inward, and then you say he has a suit where the cameras are placed outward. That's actually are faced outward. That's actually, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into that one, but like that's kind of cool. Like, yeah, it's like the way keeps invisible is to keep cameras pointed inwards and outwards. I don't know. There's something there. There's a deep meaning, but no, that's really cool about Zeus's collar. I like that. I did notice when, oh yeah, I called it out right before. I guess we're in spoilers when she trips over the the bowl in like the first part of it when she's first escaping, and I saw that one coming right away, and so it was like I almost felt like, oh, is that the only reason they like had a dog, just so she could like trip over the water dish? But you know what? I mean, to be fair, I mean, I guess he came back a few times and he was a little bit of a character, and plus, like you say, that's good story building or world building with the collar. So I like the choice more now. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Like even the like beginning shot, like he has her arm like around her, like even though
Oh.
like he's knocked out on drugs because she drugged him so she could escape, right? Like even like
Yes.
subconsciously,
That's good.
he has like a hold of her, right? Like
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. Ugh. I thought that was crazy too. Like, why even have a dog? But then, like, I'm looking back into it and I'm like, I don't think the dog was like for protection or for like a pet. I think it was more like to keep her there because sometimes, like, abusers, they'll have animals because, if you don't have a child, like, there'll be an animal there and it makes it harder for that
Right,
person to leave
attachment.
because they don't want to leave, that animal there. Because you notice, like, he didn't bark or anything. Like, when she tripped and made noise or anything, he was, like, quiet. I was like, oh, man. Yeah, that's... I felt so bad, though, when she did leave. I was like, the poor dog.
yeah, like she even like apologizes. She's like, I'm so sorry, Zeus. I wish I
sorry."
could take you over. And she actually does try to like get the shock collar off.
Yeah.
That's what like triggers like she kind of accidentally hits the car, and that's kind of what
Right.
triggers the alarm and for her to go into a sprint.
Yeah.
One thing is funny when she was like running and she was waiting for her sister to come pick her up, right? And the sister's like, "What's happening? What's happening?" I mean, I feel like I would just be like, "Yeah, let's drive."
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like asking questions. Like
Right.
if it's like 4 in the morning
I
and
told
like
you to
your
come get
your
me and hurry
sister
up.
and brother, yeah, are like that. Like, yeah, come get me. Like, let's just drive off. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, what's happening? What's going on with Adrian?" Like up until the point where like he like runs up to the car and just like fucking punches it, right?
Smashes it, yeah.
Right. Well, further explaining his fucking unstable emotional fucking abuse. He's just fucking crazy and just walks up the cars and just punches it full force.
Yep.
Yeah, like he wasn't like, oh, this is a misunderstanding. He just like immediately
Yeah.
angry.
I remember.
And to
Like, oh,
fight the medication that she gave him and be that alert and running and hitting,
Right.
like, that's scary, dude.
Yeah, I remember calling that out. She's like, just like fake tension. Yeah, because like, that's kind of why I say it wasn't flawless. I mean, it was good, I guess, tension building, but it does get a little silly when it's like, bro, no person on earth is sitting there. Well,
Yeah.
their sister wasn't it her sister? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her
yeah,
sister.
and it like just sits there and explains or demands an explanation. It's like, no, nobody would ever do that, even if it was almost a total stranger. If it was your friend from college, you'd just bolt right out of there.
I think we can assume what it is. If you're picking
Right.
me up in the middle of the night and I tell you to hurry and be quiet, like, I think we know what the deal is. Yeah.
like the implications there.
Yeah, the implication.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. That's like probably like the one like little gripe I had is like how easy it is for like Adrian to just isolate Cece from her friends and family because they're just like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. Like they just have that. They have that. I don't want to deal with this. Like
they don't
even James's character who takes her in
Right.
throughout the movie with his daughter is kind of like on eggshells, right, and doesn't really discuss it with her.
They don't even indulge her like with easy stuff that like would just put her at ease. They like intentionally don't like do things. It's
Bro,
like,
it's like that, and I'll tell you, it's because they were like, oh, well, he's rich and that's your money too, and you can literally do anything. Like, why is this a problem? Why are you running away from him? Like, you have money, you can do anything to get away from him.
Right. I mean,
people
they thought he
don't
was
get it.
dead, I think, a lot from a lot of the movie, right? Like, most people
Yeah.
thought he was dead, but, like, even then, if your abuser, like if your abuser's dead, like, and you ask somebody, like, hey, do you mind, like, not, like, leaving, like, the door open or whatever, I forget what she asked for a few times, but, nobody even, like, wants to indulge her there, which I think, like, that's kind of what you're going into, like, where she said, I feel like everybody, or what was it again? Everything he does makes me feel like I'm crazy. And it's kind of
this
like,
is what he does. He makes me feel like I'm crazy.
I guess it's kind of like by extension, like he's even still doing that, even after he's supposedly dead. I mean, he is really doing actual things because he's not dead. But also, even assuming that he is dead, he's still like making her feel crazy because nobody wants to like even listen to even her pretty valid fears, even if they're not super rational.
Yeah, and like, even if he was dead, you still are dealing with trauma. Like he's like, it's been 2 weeks, go check the mail, and she's freaking out when people run
like,
by. It's like, well, still,
yeah, it's still going on. It's still happening.
It's still trauma, dude. Like it will affect you. Like it's been 12, 13 years since I've had any of those experiences. I'll still have nightmares. You know what I mean? Like, it will follow you. So, to be like, it's 2 weeks, go to the grocery store. What's the matter with you? You get over it. It's like, bro, what?
James, the dad, and Sydney, her sister, like, do, like, a very shitty job of, like, just being there for her as people.
How is this supportive?
Like, Sydney's like, why don't you just tell me? Just tell me right now. Tell me, like, the whole story between you and Adrian. Like, right now.
Yeah, that's...
And then, like,
Sydney's the
when,
daughter,
like...
right?
Sydney's
James's
the
daughter.
sister. Sydney's the sister.
Sydney's
the sister.
Oh, wait. Yeah, who's the daughter?
I'm sorry, Emily's the sister. Emily's the sister.
Emily's the sister.
Emily's
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was confused.
Excuse me about that. Yeah.
Cut it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they do like they just like they're just like it feels like even though they were helpful, like getting her out of the house, right?
Right.
Giving her a place to stay. Like it feels like that. To them, like that's their only duty, right? It's just to be the rescuer, and then like, oh, you're just on your own, lady.
Right.
Like,
get over it.
Never mind all
life's
the crazy
easy.
stuff you're talking about and trying to make you or trying to find help for you. It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely, I mean, I guess if we're talking about that, they really turn on her instantly. Like for a second there, at least, because they were like, Sydney gets shoved. I guess I guess this is my rant because I remember we were kind of riffing on this when we were when we were seeing it live. But yeah, like the daughter gets shoved, like a little bit, and like and she just by the Invisible Man, as we know, but they really think that a little Elizabeth Moss like shoved this little girl, like, I don't know, for no reason.
Oh no, punched her.
Oh, was
Remember
it punch?
They thought yeah, because they were
think
just sitting and talking. She was
Mm-hmm.
looking right at her, and she gets punched in the face by the Invisible Man, and she's like, "She punched me." I'm like, "She's like 5 feet away." What
Yeah. Well, either way, yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying it's good that she got punched, but like, man, like, yeah. First of all, you could pretty much see that she didn't do it, and second of all, even if she did somehow do it, it could easily be explained by like, oh my god, I have like trauma, and like
Mhm.
you were making me like I don't know, weren't they talking about some heavy shit or something? Maybe they weren't, but like
Yeah.
I could see you could say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I saw something." Like I say I have trauma, but no, they instantly turn
Yeah.
on her and be like, "You punched her in the face."
I know, and after they were like talking normally and kind
Yeah.
of laughing, like why would you
Right.
all of a sudden punch her? And then she,
If,
yeah,
if I
that
did
part
think
didn't make
someone
any
did
sense.
that in that situation, I'd be like, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay?" I don't know. I
But what happened?
Yeah, like what happened? Can you
Yeah.
tell me like what happened with the? But no, it was like you literally just punched her, and like I don't know, like and you meant to,
I
and
know,
you were
look at my
malicious.
hands. Yeah. I know, and James completely turned on her. I could not even believe that part. I
Yeah.
was like, dude.
Right, we're like right now you're making my daughter scared, so we gotta leave. I mean, kudos for
Okay.
Adrian. I guess isolating her worked in that instance
Right,
because
I
they
mean-
immediately left the house with like Elizabeth by herself. Even though I don't think that's a smart thing. Even if you know Adrian's quote unquote dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think it's like a smart idea to like leave someone like that by themselves with
Right.
no devices, especially not in the house they don't even own. That's not even her house.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
they're
And
like, don't fuck up my house.
that's that was a good gambit by him. Like, there's no reason you wouldn't punch the little girl. So I mean, please
Right.
quote me on that.
Clip it.
That was crazy. It's just, I don't know, they were like smiling and laughing. Like, it would have been more if like they had gotten into an
Yeah.
argument and then he
Mhm.
punched her, and then it was more believable. But she was like,
Right.
either way, this sucks.
That's a funny. That's my headcanon now. Is that like Adrian was sitting there waiting for them to get in an argument, and they like never did. And then he's like, "All right,
Yeah,
I'm
never
sick of
happened.
this.
He's
I'm
like,
just gonna
"I'll
punch her
start
just
it
right
then."
now. Like, who cares?"
I burned your breakfast. Be mad about it. Come on.
Yeah. Dude, that's probably what. Yeah, that's my headcanon now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tried to do the breakfast argument, but I couldn't get it going. They just laughed about it and said,
Just
"Don't."
had to punch
They
her.
said, "Don't put
They
water on it." That's all they said.
They just kept getting along. It's not part of my plan.
And then she got a fire extinguisher. And then,
Yeah,
and then the
he
fire
wasn't even
extinguisher
trying to
never
make
came
her
into the
crazy.
plot again, even though we thought
Yeah.
it should.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't trying to
Oh,
make
it
her
did,
feel
actually. That's
crazy.
what
He
it
just
was.
didn't
It
like
did
the
come
little
back.
girl.
It did come back. I guess I was thinking of something else. I thought maybe there was another instance where we were like, "Dude, just get the fire extinguisher," and they like didn't. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, building off what Alyssa and Aqua is saying, like Act 2 is basically like her dealing with like the trauma of that, right? The fallout, like like staying with her cop friend James,
Yeah.
like blocking out the webcam, right?
Mm.
Or
Oh my
like
God. Yeah.
being afraid to get the mail, or even when getting the mail, like the random jogger, which I still think it's like Adrian or one of them. Like
I do too.
I couldn't find any like interviews or any like trivia about it, but like it's just a good representation of her just like not being able to just trust the outside
That's your
because she's just
headcanon.
afraid James is just gonna keep coming for her. And she even like Googles like what how do you know if you're being stalked or whatever, or like she like Googles like how do you know if someone's watching you, something like that.
Yeah. I know, and then I like how she doesn't put tape over the cam. She
We-
does nail polish.
we
We're like,
freaked
what the
out.
fuck?
Yeah, like it's called electrical tape. That's what I usually, if I were to do that, that's what I think I
Yeah.
did that at one of my laptops.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's like super irrational because like later she goes in to like find a job, right, just to get her life like in order and to get and stuff like that. And I figured like there'd probably be like a Zoom call that you probably need to be on that requires you to have a webcam. So
I know. She's like, we gotta do
For-
this in person. Something happened on my laptop.
yeah, like CC probably not thinking ahead over in that area.
And if he was she aware that he could be invisible at that point? Because what's the point? Like if he's gonna be doing anything, he's probably not gonna be doing it through a webcam. Why would he? He's invisible. He could just come to your house like he did. I don't know what the
That's, like,
rationale was.
Yeah, that's the strange part is that like her thinking that he actually used the suit doesn't come until later, which you think it's always in the back of her mind.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Like-
right.
like,
She did kind
that
of.
he owns this like
eventually.
crazy ass technology.
Yeah. I just don't know what he like. He doesn't need webcams because he can just go to your house.
And what a dick move to make sure she doesn't get. How?
Right.
Why do that?
Well, stealing
Ooh,
the
that pissed
portfolio.
me off so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like most employers would just be like, "Oh, you forgot your stuff. That's okay. Come back. We'll reschedule." Like,
yes.
it's an architect job.
That
you
or
know?
it's like just email.
Yeah, I mean like in her interview like before she got like she fell asleep because of the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like she was doing good, right? She has like this
Mm-hmm.
huge crazy resume about being in Paris and all that, and
Yeah.
like most of her college
She has
career
to
was
have.
in the architect
She
school.
has to have a website. They could have just brought it
That's what I
up.
was gonna say. Oh, here, I'll just show you on my phone real quick.
Squarespace.
Yeah.
Type in this building. I did that.
Yeah, literally.
I
Hey,
made that.
take a walk with me down the street. See that building?
Yeah. Oh, whoops! I forgot the paper, but I do have it right here. It's like
It's the
it
building.
could have been done. The building we're standing in,
Yeah,
actually.
this building right here.
That's an
I made this-
Elizabeth Moss.
Mhm.
Elizabeth Moss original.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Adrian probably knew she could nail the interview anyway. That's why he drugged her, like on top of like stealing her
Right.
her resume and all that stuff.
Right. He just wanted to sabotage anything that could be good for her, you know.
Yeah, just keep her away of things that would make her happy, or like things that would like
Mhm.
drive her away from like Adrian, of course, right?
Yeah. I know, and like how long did he expect to keep that up, honestly? Like pretending to be dead and fucking with her, like was his notion to kill her, or that's what I was wondering. Like, you're fucking with her resume, like what's your end game here?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, at the end he wanted. Wait, yeah, or he. What did he say? What was his gambit or his conditions? He's like, "Stay with me forever."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, just to like jump ahead a little bit, like his whole plan is just to basically like even like faking his death was like all in an elaborate prank, not prank,
A prank,
Just
elaborate
a prank,
ploy
bro.
to yeah, it's just a prank, bro, just a prank, bro. Killed your sister.
that was
Like it was all like an elaborate ploy to just figure out what her support group is and just take it away from her.
Yeah.
That's basically how he explained it. Is like yeah, let her go, but so I can find out who she would go to, in times of need, or where she would stay, or people that would actually check up on her. It's like just like
Mhm.
X those out of her life.
Yeah.
That was his plan.
It was all just to punish her for leaving him, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, until eventually probably killing her, because at the end, once you take everyone away and it's just her, then what?
Mhm.
You're going to stop being invisible, and we live a life together? Like, you faked your death, you idiot.
I mean, yeah, he was connected. I do agree with you. I think he I can't remember exactly what you said that made me think of it, but it was like, dividing and like isolating.
Mhm.
It's definitely more of the same thing, where it's like, he doesn't really have he can't let her get any support, and
Mhm.
I guess I kind of forgot what I was gonna say, but that's a good point. I liked it.
Mm. Yeah.
So like later, like in Act 2, when he starts like fucking with her a little bit. One of the cool things I actually missed on my first viewing, you know how we said like, oh, like he'd be kind of loud, right? Because there'd just be creaking and stuff like that, like throughout the house. Like, that's funny. I like kind of blasted my headphones just to see if I can like get something from hearing it. And like I thought I was hearing something. I thought I was just kind of going crazy because I was dealing with COVID at the time. But the shots where she's kind of just like she like looks behind her to like check if someone's there, right? Which apparently like it's like a thing that we all have. I looked it up. It's Jesus. I'd probably butcher this, but it's like psychopathic or something. It's your sense to know when someone's watching you. Everyone has it, kind of eventually. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if you're in a room of crowded people, but you had your back turned, you could still feel that there'd be people watching you.
Mhm.
But, like, every time she turns around, there's clicking noises, like that you could hear. I thought it was, like, the floorboards, like, signify that Adrian's there watching. It's
Mhm.
actually the cameras on the suit, like, clicking,
Yeah.
like turning and, like, actually capturing images to make him invisible.
Maybe the
I
aperture.
thought that was like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, every time she turns around to like to like
Mhm.
observe like the open area and you hear clicking, that's just him like standing there.
I like
What?
that.
I gotta watch
Or-
it again.
Hmm.
Yeah. or the brother.
Yeah,
Either
or the
way, like I
brother.
thought it was like a cool little like Easter egg if you like really listen, right? There's like a lot of cool things throughout the movie with that. I know there's like the knife scene, right? Where like she's cooking and then like you just see like the blade just fall off from the table instantly and then it just disappears. And then
Yep.
also when she notices that the doors open in the house and she goes outside and you can see a little bit of breath coming from behind her,
Yeah,
like
that was
someone's
good.
like
So good.
breathing down her
So
neck.
good.
That was really cool. Like there's some cool stuff with that. And then you guys remember the scene where Adrian pulls off the sheets from her and then he's weirdly just taking pictures of her with her phone, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then Cece wakes up and she freaks out a little like real quick because there's a mannequin standing there. Cool little Easter egg. That mannequin is actually the original Invisible Man suit from the 1933 movie.
Oh,
like
shit.
they actually got it.
I
So
can
like
see it now.
that cool mannequin.
I can remember.
Okay.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
I did, I guess, kind of in a similar vein. I guess maybe my suspense of disbelief was challenged a little bit when she was like in like the mental ward or whatever, and he was able to like follow everyone perfectly and like through locked
Yes!
doors and stuff.
I was just gonna say that. Like, the rooms are so tiny, obviously. Like, I feel like if I were in that suit, I would have gotten in the way at least once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody would have stepped on my foot, or I'd been like shimming against the wall trying to get out of the way. Like, I thought that was funny that he was in the cell with her. I mean, seemingly overnight too, because like once they locked her in, you know, like you're not getting out. Like
Right,
you would have
right.
to. What are you gonna do? Stand around all night? You have to pee. Like,
Yeah, he
I think
might have
that's
had
funny.
more of a get up than we even knew. You know, he might have had a whole internal,
Yeah.
like system that did that.
Speed.
If he can make the invisible suit, he can make like a invisible shit.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a bag like tied to his leg, taped
Floating
to his leg.
around.
Yeah, you just hear it sloshing. You're like, okay, I know you're in here.
Every time she turns around, it sloshes.
Yeah. I know you're here with your piss bag and your cameras. Be pissed.
Yeah, I thought about that for a little bit, but then I also thought like okay, like in real life, like you're shopping, something like bumps into you, but you don't see it. Like, are you actually calling out to anybody and like
Right.
feeling around, or are you just
No.
going on with your day,
There's a
right?
certain
Just like, oh,
there's
what
a
was that?
certain believability. It's not hugely suspension breaking. I thought it was a little strange, but you know what? Like he's kind of a tallish, skinny-ish guy. Like maybe he was lanky enough to
He's
kind of
like-
scoot around everything.
You're just going skinny the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like Legion would be a good invisible man.
he would.
Little rogue,
Yeah.
See,
halfling rogue.
I feel like that just be Robin Banks though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
There's-
course. You wouldn't be a
There's
He'd
no
have
one
suction cups.
important enough in my life for me to just watch them all day. I'm just like, you don't need money. Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He'd have suction cups on the ceiling, just like crawling.
That's what I also thought. Like, what if Adrian just put suction cups just so it's easier to like not bump into people? Because that'd have been hilarious. Just him
Oh my
like
God.
Spider-Manning it up.
Jesus, that'd be perfect.
I know we talked about it a little bit, but like, yeah, he besides fucking her with her and all that stuff, like he's pretty much spends the entire like act 2 trying to isolate her, right?
Yeah.
Making her fail the job interview, like even the scene where he hits Sydney is it's all I just talk about a little bit. It's crazy like how a left field that is, and there's more moments like that in the movie, but like just boom, like like they turn up the sound effect for that too, just to, like
Right.
emphasize that she just like fucking
That's a good touch.
hit her with a like a bomb.
Can we talk quickly about how she trashed their house after all
Oh
that?
my gosh! Immediately.
Yeah. With the was
Coffee.
it like flour
Yeah,
and
flour
coffee,
something.
just, like all over the place.
'Cause it would have smelled
Yeah.
really good. I remember saying that.
Oh, it was coffee. That's right. Like, how did he have so much coffee?
I mean,
Like,
My-
went to Costco.
I mean, he's a cop, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
that's true.
The late
you know what
shift.
though? She could have also used the powdered sugar from all his donuts.
Zing.
Got him.
Yeah, she
Uh,
completely trashed the house. And it's like, at that point, wouldn't he just be following her as she's doing it, like walking behind her? Like, you're not going to get my
right.
footprints.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy enough, like the only thing that really like tips her off is that she calls like his
Mm-hmm.
phone, right? And then it's in the attic where
Mm-hmm.
he's been like staying like to watch her, like already implying that like she
Yeah.
didn't hide at all. He was always there. He was always like in the background, like watching, like
That whole
her
fucking
like
time.
driving off into the distance, like did nothing.
Luckily, she had a
That's...
white paint can.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Look, that scene is crazy too. Like you know it's coming. Like she's gonna reveal him in like some big way, but then like she dumps the paint can and you can see all like the servos from the cameras, and it's like a very like weird figure too because it has like all these like octagonal shapes
Mm-hmm.
around, right? It like if it didn't look humanoid, you'd swear that was like a fucking alien that just like ran up
Mm-hmm.
in our house.
Still very weird. Hella weird. You're like, what is that?
When we said it
Yeah.
looked like a golf ball. We were like, oh, golf balls. That's what makes you invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like the suits that suit's insane and like
Mm-hmm.
even like fully revealed or even like half revealed with the paint like
Mm-hmm.
it looks like so otherworldly that it's very like off-putting. I was like, I'll leave it up to Adrian to even make the invisible suit kind of like fucking creepy looking.
Yeah, and like Aqua said when we were watching the movie, like how unbelievable it was that like the government didn't come in and swoop up those suits,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
like Iron
Mhm.
Man.
I can forgive only because like I don't know, like a lot of times
Where would you find him?
A lot of
Can't
these-
point, but you can't see.
a lot of right. A lot of these movies, like even when the hospital, like or is it the mental ward, like where it was like a few security, like there was nobody anywhere, like
I know.
and it was just
And they
like
all
a
knew her
few
name.
like security guards, and it was like. And a lot of movies do it where it's like, okay, this is just happens to be, and it's unbelievable, but this just happens to be
Mhm.
super sparsely populated, like
Mhm.
place. There's literally nobody, even though there's a lot of cars, but there's nobody around, which often breaks my suspension of disbelief. Like, but I also understand that when you're making a movie, you can't, especially in 2020, you can't have like
Mhm.
hundreds of extras, like, ooh, like
Yeah.
even if
Mhm.
even if it wasn't 2020, like it's a little like unnecessary in a lot of ways to like add so much clutter when you just want to show like somebody getting chased or like shot at. You don't really
Mhm.
need like a
Mhm.
bunch of people screaming or like other policemen like doing stuff. That I mean,
Mhm.
some of it's a little necessary to kind of like cut the fat a little bit there, but it's still a little unbelievable in some ways. But I can forgive
Yeah.
it to some degree. So same with the military. Like you could say that for anything. Like, why doesn't God just like pluck them up and save them?
Right. I thought that was funny too, that it was like so sparsely populated, but everybody was on a first name basis with her. Like even though she was like framed for murdering her sister, they're just like, "Hey, don't leave!" And she just runs out the front door. I feel like, ah, dang it.
yeah. And she's like in the parking lot, and then like, and there's like nobody around, and like the security guards are like going one by one, like. And like
Yeah.
some of them seem to be just hanging by the door for some, or like inside or something, and they like go out
It's
one
like
by
a video
one.
game, right?
Yeah.
Like the NPCs gotta like
Yeah.
they're figuring out their pathing.
Yeah,
It's like, guys, she's not staying at a hotel. Like she's wanted for murder. Like,
yeah. Like
let's be a little, you know.
oh, and she actually like goes for the exit, and nobody's at the exit, and it's been like 10
They're
minutes.
all behind the desk.
And there's been 10 minutes since they've been looking for her in this parking lot that has like one exit because it's like enclosed, and nobody was at the exit.
Yeah, no alarms or anything. They're just like, hey, come on,
Yo,
come back.
yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
One one of the cool things that like hints that Adrian is still around, is that like when she goes to like investigate like what's kind of happening to her, and she remembers that this guy
Mhm.
has an invisible suit and goes back to the house. The dog is still there, like
Mhm.
implying that someone goes regularly there.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
Like
caught that live.
you
That was
think
good.
it's like the brother. You think it's like the brother, like regularly feeding the dog, but it's just
Mhm.
Adrian still staying at his house.
Mhm.
I guess recharging the suits and like going back and forth. to James's house to like spy on her and all that. So
Yeah.
it's like a fun little hint that like yeah, he's still around. He's
Yeah.
definitely still like watching her.
And nothing's changed in the house either. Like there's like a couple of dust covers on some things, but
Yeah.
it's not like someone actually died. It was
Right, like someone's still cleaning it.
like someone's still at the
Obviously.
house. Yeah.
I kind of wonder. I mean, if it were to be watched again or some other or on another watch through, like, I wonder if there's a point where you can tell who it is that is like following her, or like when they do switch out the suits. I wonder if there's any
like
indications.
There's a couple of times where like for instance, jumping in a little bit, the final act when Cece goes back to James' house to like warn them that he's there, right? When they escape the hospital, Adrian's there with the hospital, and when the Invisible Man shows up there, like obviously he's Cece's like only a few minutes behind. She would not be that far behind, implying that like, oh, the brother Tom is already there. So there's like some points where you can tell like which Invisible Man is there, before the other one. But it's done in a way where like they're still trying to hide that maybe Adrian's also the victim. That you'll later
Right.
figure it out.
That's a pretty interesting plot point. Yeah, with the brother, right? With Adrian's brother. What's his name? Sorry.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Okay.
Tom,
I thought that was interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't. I guess I did kind of see it coming, but I did kind of like how they framed him as kind of a, like they did kind of try to frame him sympathetically, and and you know, and it's kind of easy to brush it off. And I mean, obviously, it's the right choice. But he was obviously abused too. So I mean, there's definitely there's definitely a thought process, like, you know, hurt people kind of thing. I think he's a good example of that, because I mean, it's hard. Didn't they even say like the exact line, like it's hard to grow up with like a narcissistic brother or something like that?
Yeah.
And like,
actually, Cece has like a good burn when talking to Tom, talking about like he's a jellyfish. He's like an exact copy of Adrian without the spine.
that was good.
Yeah.
I think about that line
That's
often.
perfect.
It lives in your head.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah,
that
like
one
that
up
is such
for
a
later.
fucking good burn, man.
Yeah. He's like, shut up.
Yeah. Then he goes, nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh, I'm better than my brother.
Brother.
Because even though like Tom is sort of like a victim to Adrian as well, like just like the settlement that Cece gets from Adrian with the money, like you can obviously tell like he's just taking his brother's money. That's like it's what he lives off of. He's the brother's lawyer. Of course, he's chained to Adrian in some way because like Adrian probably pays him the most.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, can we talk about the restaurant scene real quick?
Yes.
I mean,
that scene is so fucking like insane.
yeah. No, it's
like,
it's very well done.
I feel like I may have like heard it from like a couple of friends who watched the movie when it came out, but yeah, like the whole setup of them like Cece finally opening up about like Adrian's abuse, and like I guess Emily finally realizing, hey, you wouldn't send a crazy fucking email about how much you hate me and how much I
my
exhaust
gosh,
you
yeah,
and how
we
much
were
you
Right.
on that one for a while.
yeah, like just to get off on a tangent. Yeah, like can you imagine getting that email from someone you like and not immediately thinking it's like fucking weird spam or whatever?
Your sibling,
Your
by the
Yeah.
way.
sibling,
Yeah.
and you're not even that, and you weren't even estranged before that, were you? Like,
No.
yeah, like it's
I
not like
mean-
it was like from 10 years and they had no contact, and then that comes up. Yeah,
Right. And I'm sorry, but I know the way that my brother types and speaks. I would know immediately that it wasn't him. You know, I'd be like, you don't talk like that, you know? And then I would call him after the email and be like, why'd you just send me this? You know?
right.
Like, I would have immediately called and say, why'd you say that? And then he'd say, I didn't. I'd say, well, that's weird.
Yeah, and I can't remember
Something's fishy.
what was the content of that. It was like, yeah, it was just a bunch of like, oh
yeah,
yeah, don't
basically,
contact
like
me.
you exhaust me.
Yeah, you exhaust me. I don't want
You're
nothing-
overbearing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like that's a little smart by the directors because Cece does mention to Emily like, please don't like be overbearing at this time. I just need to like have
Yeah.
space just to deal with it. So it is
Right.
dropped a little bit. But
Mhm.
like a full on like fucking manifesto about how like you hate the other person and wish they were like the ones that died, and
Yeah,
you're
you're
like
dead to
not like
me.
what? Why
Just
would you
follow
say
up
that?
once with like even just yeah, like you say, even the one text like, did you
Mhm.
happen to email me this thing? And if true, I won't. I don't know. Like I don't even know what I'd say. Just
I
be
would have called.
yeah, I got call. I mean, that's probably the best thing to do. Just be
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
no, what the fuck?
and like,
Yeah, if my brother sends something shit in me, I call and go,
I
what does
don't
this mean?
even if you did send that earnestly or honestly or however you, like even if that was a real email, like I don't think you could actually get in trouble even if it says don't contact me. I don't think
No.
calling once to confirm that that was real is like would be like violating in a legal way
No.
like that
No.
request. I
Right.
don't think. Like I
That's her sister.
yeah, it's like I don't think you can like hold that to be like, "Oh, it was real." Even if it was real and now you're going to get arrested.
No,
'Cause
unless
'cause
she had a restraining order put into place,
Yeah.
that can't stop her. She
Yeah,
could
you
call
need
or
to
go
get
by the house that
served.
she's at and go, what the fuck is this about?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you need to get served a restraining order. You're right. That's the only time when that would have been like illegal.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like a on the first watch. I thought it was like a clever way of Adrian like implicating her in like murder, but like nowhere in that letter does it ever like describe harm. It just says get away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to see you anymore. Or, like Emily, like please don't talk to me.
Well,
So
Right.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's like
so
if I
like
see you,
out
I'll
of like
slit
left
your
field
throat
that
with a knife.
yeah, next time I see you and we're eating, you're dead.
Knife wise, just in case you didn't know.
So, did you want to describe the knife scene?
Yeah, so at one point of the story, like Cece like definitely like suspects that Adrian is the one stalking her and trying to like take her away from everything that would help her. And they're having a completely normal conversation, Cece and Emily, and then you just see like a knife like dance into frame like over Cece's shoulder, and like it just happens like super quick. It just like slices her throat. Like she's like in shock, and then like Adrian like immediately puts like the knife in her hand, and
Mm-hmm.
like the pure like the shock I had when I first saw that scene was like insane, cause like how do you even like process all that just happened, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
just like of your sister like just dying like in front of you or bleeding out in front of you while you're like
With
carrying
their
a
throat
knife, right?
slit. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
her,
people look at you and go, ah! You know?
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
panic that ensues. Because, yeah, that's a good, it's well shot. Because, yeah, then all of a sudden the people slowly start noticing. And that was pretty powerful. It was like, oh, yeah. And her soul realization of what it looks like. Because she knows what happened. But she
Mhm.
has to then think about what it looks like. And the slow
Yeah.
horror that crawls over her face. It's a good
Yeah.
shot. It kind of encapsulates kind of the whole movie in kind of one shot there.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool because, like, at first, she doesn't want to put anyone in danger because she knows that he's always around. So she's like, crowded restaurant, he won't be there. And he is. He's like standing right fucking there. That's
You're
crazy.
right. She is false sense of security or false her notions are rational, but the situation is not rational.
Yeah, he's not. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
Y'all can't see me.
It doesn't matter if you're in a crowded place.
Can't see this.
In fact, it worked to her
He's John
detriment.
Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It worked to her detriment that she was around people because if they were alone, I mean, he could have still done it, but it wouldn't have been as powerful for her.
I like how they
Yeah.
made him superhuman strength too. Like when
Yeah.
he's like beating up James, beating up all of the hospital personnel. I'm like, what else does this guy do?
My thoughts is, I mean, my new headcanon the suit was also like a robo suit or something.
Yeah.
Wait, like yeah, what are those called? Like those
Exoskeleton,
expo
whatever.
suits,
Yeah.
exoskeleton suits, yeah.
Yeah, super
Like
strength.
yeah, there's some crazy like feats of strength. Like even like there's a point where I think it's like a little bit after like the paint scene, but like she tries to like fight him right a little bit with like a knife and some plates and stuff like that. But he like holds her by the neck and by the arm like straight up in the air. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's the most insane. Like
Like, we
even
get it,
like
you're
the
tall.
strongest people like
But,
would like
yeah.
would, like shake, right? Because like holding someone up like that is like not easy at all.
Yeah.
And then of course
Yeah.
like the security guards
Right.
or like I'm assuming those security guards are somewhat in shape, right? So the fact that he's like using he's overpowering them like to get their weapons and stuff like that is like completely insane to me.
Yeah, that was crazy. Good fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good fights. Yeah.
I think they kind of do need to do that. Like, he can't just be the guy who's invisible. He needs to be like Superman who's invisible. But yeah, they did a good job of doing the whole. Oh yeah, like when the security guards are like on the ground, and then like the gun, kind of the same way with the knife. It like dances around.
Yeah.
And then it goes right to his, and he just looks at the gun floating in front of him. It's like, bro, what are you gonna do? And he doesn't do anything.
God. And it's so frustrating too, like when she does ask, like for him to admit it and he just refuses. Oh my God. Like, that pissed me off so much, dude. So much.
It's just him trying to perpetuate the abuse, basically. Like,
Yes!
I'm a victim too.
This is what he does. He makes me feel like I'm crazy, and I'm like, bro, it's literally like that. It's so like that. And she just cries because she's like, fuck, you're crazy. Like, you won't just say it. Even though you know that you did it, I know that you did it, you won't fucking say it. Like, I hate that.
It is. I guess it's a look at a depiction of obsessive, definitely behavior, because he could go be invisible anywhere. I could think of a billion places I'd be invisible, and none of them involve like abusing like somebody. Because like I mean I don't know. I there's a lot of things you can do, but yeah, like, because the invisible part almost, I don't know, if you're abusing somebody invisibly, you're still visible. I don't know. There's an interesting allegory there. Like, he could be truly invisible if he wants to be, but he can't. He can't resist. He has to be visible through his abuse, right? He's obsessive.
Yeah. Yeah, because you could say, oh, well, he could just get over her and just do it to the next person, but it takes work, and he can't stand the fact that she's out of his
right.
control.
She took her own initiative, and that's something that he can't let go of.
Can't have it.
Yeah, Adrian kind of like mentions it a little bit, but like he says like, oh, like I hate that you don't need me, right? Like she's obviously a brilliant architect, right? Like enough to like that her schooling obviously shows. Like, she doesn't really need him. Like, she can be living her own big ass fancy house without him. But like the narcissism won't like let go of someone who doesn't actually like need him. Like, even like the brother, right? Like, needs his money, right?
Yeah, she can't be happy without him. Like, he cannot have it. And the fact that she left him, he's like, damn you. Yeah.
Why you make me do this?
I know, and then wanting to have a baby with her that whole time too was crazy.
Yeah, that's like you were kind of speaking about it, Alyssa, but yeah, like basically, so she cannot leave, right? Like, because like why would she? Like, she'd be afraid for the baby's life, right? And obviously, she wants to be around her own kid, right? So like, it's like the ultimate like power move, I guess, like of control.
You know what? I thought of I could be a college professor. I want to do a creative writing. Not really, but you know what, listeners at home, I want us to creatively think of what I want to think of a prequel, a prelude to this movie. Like, what do you think their a relationship looked like, before the movie started? Because I mean, there had to be some reason why she was so deep into each other's lives. I mean, I get that they're a couple, but I don't know. It's interesting to think of how that all kind of came about. I mean, it's maybe not the most interesting thing in the world, but it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, what did you see in him, at least at first?
Well, it shows you a snip of it towards the end.
Okay.
When he has her come over and he's got the nice dinner and doing all these things, because like the narcissistic abusive type, they're like that in the beginning, you know. They are everything that you would want in like a perfect man, right? They do what's called love bombing, you know, and they do all these big like grandiose gestures, and they get you like pulled in. And you know, like she was, you know, wealthy and successful, but he was more, you know, like he was like what, world renowned for his optics, and you know, and he was charming and everybody liked them, and that's why it was like unfathomable to other people that he was doing that. So like, and you know, herself, she has like a little bit of low confidence, like she's not like, you know, a supermodel by any means, but he saw that in her, and was like, oh, you're the most beautiful woman in the world, and she was easy to manipulate. So their relationship in the beginning was probably fantastic, but it doesn't stay like that for very long. It just, you know, slowly trickles down to just control, you know. And she probably wasn't working anymore, and he had her there, and it just all became about control. And then bringing up the baby, that was like, well, she could never go away if I do this. And so she knew, she was smart enough to like get on birth control and hide it. But I think they said too, right, that he knew about it, and he was jacking up. Yeah, he was jacking him up and making it to where she got pregnant.
Right. No, that's good analysis, really. I didn't think about some of that stuff. It's true that kind of the love bombing thing is definitely a factor. And kind of I mean, yeah, like you say, the initial kind of honeymoon phase, definitely, I could see that having been a thing. I kind of wish, I guess I kind of wish they delved into it maybe with a little bit of a flashback, or like a kind of maybe a montage at the beginning.
Yeah, a little bit.
A workout montage.
I'm still waiting for the director's cut of this movie. Anybody?
Right.
But yeah.
But I thought about that too.
Yeah. She kind of like mentions it a little bit when she finally does confide in James and her sister. Where it was like, first it started off like, oh, like controlled like what I wore, and like what places I went to, and then it devolved into what I ate, like who I talked to, or even just leaving the house in general.
Yep.
So like you can kind of see like the steps he kind of took to eventually get her to where she was like afraid, right, of saying or doing anything without his say so.
She was afraid of.
Yeah.
Then she was afraid of leaving the house afterwards, even though he made her. Like, I mean, I know it was for a reason, but it's almost like she internalized some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how he was at the dinner too, like when he would refuse to take responsibility for what happened, and like I think he blamed his brother, right? He was just like, it was Tom, da 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 da. And he painted himself as the victim, and you know, he just wanted her back with him, and he loved her, and things are gonna get better. Like that is a very good example of like the cycle of abuse. So like that's why I think that little snippet is like a good picture of what their relationship was before, because you'll have good moments of that. That's what a toxic relationship is. Sure. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's really bad. And so, you know, it was that like the good, you know, like, oh, we can have dinner, whatever. Oh, okay, I'll just clean up and things are good again, until it starts over again. It's like clockwork, right?
That's a good point.
So
because she did play into it, right? She kind of leaned into it.
Yeah, because she gave in.
Well, right.
She is.
Well, but at the end,
you know,
she was
but
leaning
she had her
into
motive.
It, so she could like kill him, or well, spoilers now, yeah, but yeah, but yeah, so she leaned into it. So that's a good point. It was like a little snapshot of what their relationship kind of was like before. Good point.
Yeah, and then when things like that start to happen in the beginning, like Legion said, you know, like, oh, you know, he controlled what I wore and what I ate. Like, it's not always like, it doesn't start out like, I don't want you to wear that, or I don't want you to eat that. They will always paint themselves like, I think you would look better in this, or I really don't want men looking at you in these clothes, or, you know, I think it would be better if you ate that. And if you do any kind of pushback, like, oh, well, I don't really want to do that, then they will make you out to be the asshole. You know, they'll make you out to be the crazy person. And so they always end up getting their way. And so, like, when she finally gave in at the end and was like, okay, fine, you know, you're right, and then he was like happy about it. That is a cycle of abuse right there.
And then she has to post on Reddit, "Am I the asshole?"
Am I the asshole? Yeah.
My husband
And he's
doesn't
on an
let me-
anonymous page.
Yeah, my husband doesn't let me
Yes.
go anywhere. Is this? Am I an asshole?
Or talk to people.
And then it's a 60-year-old woman that's like, well, that's just how men are, and you should respect your husband. He pays for you to live
You're right.
there.
Oh, that is more like Quora, right, or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. Reddit would be like, I don't know, red flag, which true in this case.
Yeah, red flag, run now. Call the police.
So like since we're getting towards the end here, the entire third act is like crazy, from like her being like committed into the hospital. One thing I did like, I was like, oh, that was nice, is like you know, when James is like questioning her like about the death of her sister, or the murder of the sister. He says, I feel like I failed you. Like I should have been around more, and I should have helped you out more. So I thought that was like a nice semi apology for the kind of a little bit gaslighting that he did throughout, because like he's still under the assumption that, you know, she's the crazy one, right, and Adrian's been dead this whole time. It's just been her acting out and eventually breaking into killing her sister. But I thought that was like a little nice, like, oh, he actually, like, he did care.
I mean, he does. Yeah, James, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he actually didn't not believe her for too long, as in, because like not too long afterwards, that's when the fire extinguisher came back into play, right? After the whole pushing the daughter, I guess that happened for a night, but later, yeah, that's when James got attacked, and and that was when and that's when the fire extinguisher came out, right? Like in the hallway, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's I thought that was interesting. So that wasn't that long afterwards. So I mean, by then he did believe her, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it is kind of funny how all that happened, and then he didn't really do much after that. Like, if you think a cop with connections could maybe get them in a better spot than they were before.
I know.
But...
Experience in domestic violence cases and dealing with people, like, you'd think he'd have a little more understanding, but he was just like, come on, whatever, you know? Yeah.
He's the victim. We found him in the basement.
He's dead. I know. Oh my gosh, yeah, the end when he was like, it was never about getting him to admit it, you know? He's like, he knew that she did it, and he was just like, it was like he was mad at her. But I'm like, bro, it doesn't matter if he admitted it or not. Like, he had to be taken out, you know?
Yeah, like it was never gonna stop, and
No.
you know, if he held on to the suit, how was he ever gonna be caught? You know?
For real. And my only gripe is they don't say whether she had the baby or not. I feel like she did, but I wish they would have.
It's your ambiguous ending.
I don't like it.
Or setting up the sequel, The Invisible Baby.
I was just gonna say The Invisible Baby. Where is it?
Just gotta
Yeah,
the suit a little bit.
She's in the hospital, and doctors are like, "There's nothing there."
Right? God. I know, because, like, what would she do? So, because, like, the brother's dead, he's dead, her sister's dead. It's just James.
There's James and Sydney, and I don't even know if she gets to even keep the money that Adrian like left behind for her, because she was like deemed mentally unstable, right, and unfit to like hold on to the inheritance that she got. So it's
ending. I have a feeling she's cleared of all charges. I mean, once they see that there was a camera.
He killed himself.
But does she keep the money though? That's the question.
I think so because
I don't see any reason
like,
why not. I mean,
after everything, you know.
I mean, unless the government really does swoop in and wants everything, then maybe they do like eminent domain. They're like, we'll take everything.
We'll take the suit and all of his $18 million.
Yeah.
Off.
I would imagine though that she's probably at least entitled to like half of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's dead, like, finally, you know, like, I think I mean, the money belongs to her.
And then
I don't hope so. Honestly, she could probably argue, like, hey, like, I got abused by him, and I'm like, I deserve some sort of compensation for being like abused in a relationship for this long.
Well, and she's last of kin because like
That's true.
the brother's dead and she's pregnant with his baby, so
Yeah, I mean that
Oh,
actually would
yeah,
factor
actually,
in.
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Act 3 is like pretty crazy. Like you can tell like after the initial shock of losing her sister, she's just planning all this shit in her head, right?
Mhm.
Like she's like how do I like get him to like come out, and like for her it was like stabbing her wrist. Ooh, that
Mhm.
scene makes me like uncomfortable. Like her
Yeah.
just like
Oh,
getting
right.
the pen just
Bro.
dragging like the fountain pen like dragging it
You
down
know
her
that shit
wrist
hurt,
up
and
into
she
the
was doing
yeah
it the suicide way for sure. Like,
yeah yeah yeah,
Oh,
like,
I mean,
yeah, down the river, not across the street.
that scene
Mhm.
wasn't bad, but man, yeah, the idea of it, I don't like blood that much.
how'd she hide it without him seeing it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like the one
He
time
was
Adrian had to
respectful
use the
of her in the
bathroom, right?
He was using the bathroom.
Yeah, he was pissing in his
But
bag.
it was in the bathroom though.
Hmm.
Where was it?
The fountain pen, the fountain pen, like she gets a piece of gum and like she sticks it
Right.
onto like the
The
kind of
shower.
like
I think that was supposed to indicate that he
Ceiling.
probably didn't know. But then again, he'd be like, "What is she doing up there?"
yeah, she doing maintenance on
Yeah.
her room.
At the wrench.
And then like a hand comes out, like stops her, right? Because like
Mhm.
she's just like she's trying to kill herself, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he
Mhm.
doesn't win. And then she's like, got you, and he just starts like stabbing the fuck out
That was
Mhm.
cool.
of the
It
suit.
was like, well, we're
Yeah.
kind of out of options. But yeah, no, that was a good way to get him out of hiding. Yeah.
Because now he has to protect her in some way, but still fuck with her head.
And now he's a
Because he didn't
Right,
want her to
right.
die.
now he's a visible man.
Yeah, Invisible Man.
Actually,
Yes.
funny enough, Aqua, you mentioned like there's a lot of like bouncing objects and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
like apparently like to film like stuff invisible, with the guy in like a green screen outfit, that you would like take out later, like in order to like make like those objects like visible, like you have to like make them overly bounce so
Mhm.
it shows up on camera better because like
Oh,
they
right.
try to do test shots of like a knife like running through or like a flashlight and things like that, and
Mhm.
like you just I don't know, like you don't really process it as well as something that's just like
Yeah, goofy
like
bouncing.
running across the screen.
You do wonder, like, yeah, an actual invisible person actually holding something. It might not even look, yeah, like you say, it wouldn't even look as convincing as as a more exaggerated movement. That's an interesting point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like the whole wire work, cause after like he stops her, right, and she stabs him, and the suit's faulty, right? He has to obviously escape to get a new suit, right? Or else he's just exposed. And the whole like fight scene with all like I don't know, like 15 security guards, it feels like, was like shot in like a cool way. Like obviously everyone's on strings, right? So like if they have to like be pulled back, right? Like they're being pushed or punched or whatever, like it like has to look as real. Obviously, there's a stunt guy like in a green suit also like mimicking like some of the movements that would happen, right? Of like the Adrian tasing that one security guard or shooting that one
Yeah.
security guard, or like absolutely fucking beating the shit out of some of them as well. Like the whole like hallway sequence is really well shot. And honestly, like weird that like the people who watch security cameras at that like mental institution just don't like fucking immediately call like the police or
Right.
like or be like, what the fuck is that? Like these people are like getting beat up. Like meanwhile, like Cece's just like kind of on the floor, like, hey, he's right there, he's right there. Obviously, the security guards aren't listening, but
Right.
like he's like pretty much exposed him and like in a cool way where he's like fighting a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of almost figured in my mind that like, well, I don't know if I figured, but maybe some headcanon is like that. I think I was saying during the thing during the movie, it was like maybe that hospital like is or it was like a mental institution or whatever. It was whatever, but like maybe it was either brand new or like getting old and it was like mostly abandoned or something like I don't know, maybe it's on the edge of town or something. I don't know why there's so many cars in the parking lot. but
There's a lot.
but like maybe like
Was.
I could see how like maybe they were a bunch of crooked, like it seemed like I don't know. It's like maybe Adrian bribed like a bunch of security guards and like a bunch of staff like in the in the mental institution to like
Yeah.
not be at
Don't
work
show
that
up
day.
to work on Thursday,
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Yeah, don't come to school tomorrow.
Some of you are cool.
Because I'm about to kill a whole bunch of y'all.
Yeah, huh?
There's another like cool Easter egg. So after like Adrian makes his escape after like killing some security guards and beating the shit out of some of them, Cece's like in hunting mode where she has like a gun and is like trying to shoot Adrian and all that. And then he eventually like tells her like it's like I'm not hurting you, I love you. I'm gonna hurt everyone you love. your sister was like proof of that. So like
God.
immediately like it clicks in her head that she's going over to James's house. There's like a cool shot like if you like look on the fence of Billy the Saw doll. Like there's a little cool picture of him, and then like it like pans over, and then there's Leigh Whannell, the director, as well. So I thought that was like a fun little thing if you pay attention to sort of those things.
Picture of who? The director of what?
Oh, sorry, the picture of Billy the doll from Saw.
Okay, yeah.
The one with the red spiral circles on it,
And
the
next
white
to it-
face who's always riding the tricycle.
And next to it was
and
what?
then it pans over to the director
Of
the,
Saw?
Leigh Whannell of the movie. Well, he is director of he's one of the co-directors of Saw, but yeah, the
okay.
director of Invisible Man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Huh, I did not
I
notice
thought
that at
was
all.
like a cool.
I
That was like a cool Easter egg. I didn't notice that, to be honest. So like I rewatched it and I was like, oh wait, that's the little doll from Saw. What the fuck?
that's
They
funny.
do that in Insidious too. When the teacher's sitting in the classroom, it's drawn on the chalkboard. I didn't
Yeah.
put that together until you said that now. I was like, oh, wait a second.
James and Lee like obviously love Saw because like I guess that was their big break for both of them, right? James
Most
Wan
likely.
later went on to do like Insidious and Conjuring and all that, and Lee's been kind of like also been in the writer's chair for a lot of like horror movies, and like I guess that was their big break, and they love that project, so they try to put it in each of their movies as much
Great
as they
movies. Yeah, yeah. But
can.
yeah.
But yeah, the final act. Obviously the invisible man that shows up at the house is the brother, because like there's no way that he would get there to the house faster than CC would, like by like several 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was like,
Like-
she's driving an invisible car that tripped me out.
So yeah, like he's already at the house, but that's why the suit's actually working. So that's also another indication that that like there's also two of them.
They're in cahoots.
They're in cahoots. But like one of the things that like made me mad was like how like James is getting beat up by the invisible guy, right? Like just beating the shit out of it, and the daughter's just kind of like crying in the corner. I remember we were watching it together, and I was like, "Girl, you better get the fuck up and like kick
That's your
something.
dad."
I don't know, swing or something, because your dad's like just like he's
Like,
almost getting
come
beaten to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You better like tackle that
He's getting the
invisible whatever
business.
ghost or whatever."
That's what I'm saying. He was being beaten to a pulp, and she's just like, oh my god, like, do something.
It's like
Yeah.
what? You're like you're the only two people there.
Yeah, that part tripped me out. I kept thinking about that too earlier. I was like, how did he get to the house? And then I was like, oh yeah, there was the two suits. 'Cause remember we were like, what's he driving, the invisible boatmobile? Like he got there so
Yeah,
fast.
He must have taken the Corvette out of his brother's house, or I mean the house, right? Because there's
Yeah.
no way like he just fucking like sped down the highway like and had like 10 minutes on her. There's
Yeah,
no
or
way.
sat in her Uber with her and just was hella quiet. I'd be messing with the radio.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that part
like
was a trip.
Cece shows up. She grabs the fire extinguisher to like unveil the guy in the suit, and then like the gun that she stole from the security guard earlier, she just fucking lights him the fuck up. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So not bulletproof.
No.
At least there's
Yeah.
that. the suit's not bulletproof.
I mean, I can't
Yeah.
believe you didn't go with a little Kevlar under there, just for the. Maybe I guess you could.
right, on the off chance he gets stabbed, right, or something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Cece's, for better or for worse, she's ready to like fucking go down with Adrian or whatever. So she's stabbing, she's punching,
Yeah.
and weird, and also James is a cop, right? On the
Yeah.
off chance,
Right.
like he gets his gun out and like shoots him, and actually hits the
Maybe
mark,
should
right?
I don't
Mhm.
understand. I don't know a single cop that would hesitate. They love shooting things.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's revealed that the brother, had Adrian captive in a basement,
Oh
somewhere,
yeah,
implement him, and obviously Cece's not falling for
it
that shit,
happened.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Stay sec right now.
so she pretty much creates another plan. This problem's not gonna go away as
No.
long as Adrian is alive. There's always gonna be some sort of suit around, and
Mm-hmm.
he's always just gonna follow me no matter what.
Or he'll
Despite
pay
him
someone
denying it.
to.
Yeah, yeah, or he'll find someone who's also easy to manipulate
I'm,
to
Right.
just do it again.
Yep.
So yeah, she shows up to the house, and as you were mentioning, Alyssa, classic gaslighting and
Mm-hmm.
showering with gifts, right? With a fancy dinner, house is all like even the lighting kind of is a welcoming lighting, compared to
it is
before,
more.
where most
Mm-hmm.
of the shots of the house is very either cold, dark, or just
Yeah.
Good point.
just nighttime, right?
Mm-hmm.
This time around, it's well lit up. A family looks like they could actually live there,
Mm-hmm. It's
but it's all
intimate.
just yeah, his manipulation tactic to get her
It
back.
is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he she tries to actually get him to admit it. Obviously she's wearing a wire to implement him in all the things he's done. But you can tell when the lies start coming out of her mouth, she kind of cries, because she knows,
It's
yep,
always the
I'm gonna
same.
kill him, because he's not gonna change. He's
Yep.
gonna be the same person he's always been.
Yeah, I was wondering what his motivation was like. Yeah, because I guess at the time, it's like he thinks in some ways that he's pulling it off, and it's just interesting because, like, I mean, the fact that he went so far, as to have her sister killed, it's just, and do we know? Do we know which person that was that did kill her sister? I forget.
Yeah.
It was Adrian.
Basic.
It was
Yeah,
Adrian.
basically, it's
Mm-hmm.
Adrian. Yeah. Whenever whenever something seems impossible, a distance to be traveled, it's always the brother.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's Adrian
Okay.
watching the whole time.
Okay. Yeah,
From
and
when the
Mm-hmm.
house,
he
the restaurant, all
it's
that.
almost like kind of his downfall in a way, the invisible woman in some ways at the end, right? Invisible, at least emotionally, that he
Yeah.
seems to not know that, or he seems to not know or care that she knows that it wasn't the story. Why would he?
Mm-hmm.
He knows she's so smart. Why would he? Why would he risk it? I mean, because he's obsessed, I guess. But
Adrian will, but Tom wouldn't.
R-
Tom doesn't have the spine
right,
to kill anyone.
and that's fine.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I'm just saying, at the dinner scene, he should know that she knows that he did all
Mm-hmm.
that
Mhm.
shit. I mean,
Yeah.
he orchestrated it, but he can't let it go. And if he
Mm-hmm.
did, he'd still be alive.
Yeah.
But
And he knows that she'll get blamed for it.
but
You know.
yeah,
Mhm.
but he 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 can't let that go. And but yeah, he took the risk of her not knowing, but it was a bad
Mhm.
risk. Interesting thought, because yeah, I because we were talking about it when we were watching, the fact
Mhm.
that you killed her sister, that cannot, she wouldn't ever be able to get
Yeah.
over that. But and you're trying
Yeah,
to
no
frame
many
Right.
it.
defenses after that.
Yeah, you're trying to frame your
Right.
brother for it, and it's okay, but still, even if, even the best case scenario for him is that she believes that his own brother killed her sister.
He'd be like, "Hey, we're tied.
Yeah, exactly, and it's
Kill each other's siblings. You know?
yeah, and it's
Trauma bond."
and a rational person would know that you can't get over that shit, but this guy, he ain't rational.
No, but there are, but there are relationships that are like
No,
that.
I get it. No, I
They're
get
like
it. It's not unbelievable. It's just it was
They
just
will
that
cut each other off.
he bet on the wrong
Man.
horse for sure.
For sure, but shit will be like that, man. He had gotten away with so much before, and he's so used to getting his way. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
They will do that. They'll fight, people's families, and then they expect the women to come back, and sometimes they do, and they make
Mm.
them cut off their family as well. Yeah, which could be one of the reasons why, her sister believed the email because, she probably is used to being isolated from her and not being able to talk to her. So she was like, oh, well.
I wonder if she thought that was almost inspired or like sent from or not quite sent from like Adrian. And maybe she just didn't want to get involved. So she was like, okay, you don't want to talk to me. Like, she's like, I'm not going to start getting in between you and Adrian.
Exactly. Like, I picked you up once and you went back to him or, or something like that. It's like, it could be something like that.
Yeah. It's funny that you mention it. What's it called? The email, because when the brother, like, what's it called? Pretty much signs the inheritance to Cece. Like, he kind of, like, reads a letter by Adrian, being like, oh, it's your fault, Cece, that I killed myself, and, if you never would have left, things like that. But, like, the sister cuts him off, obviously, because, it's just more abuse by Adrian. But if she actually listened to the letter, like, it sounds a lot like what how the email was written. So if she just, like, listened a little longer, she'd be like, oh, that seems like what Adrian would write.
That's funny.
Right.
It's kind of, like, the same thing kind of happens with the pregnancy thing, right? Because the doctor calls her up and is like, hey, there's this drug in your system, but also, and then she's already, like, checked out, right? She's hung up.
Like, fuck.
But if she just listened a little longer, she would have...
She would have found out right then.
Yeah, she would have found out right then that she's pregnant and that he was tricking her whole time. That those weren't actually birth control. Those are just sugar pills.
That's interesting. Yeah, I did miss that the first time because I was like, how does she not know her? I said something about the pregnancy, and you were like, well, if the doctor wanted to tell her, it's like, oh,
she tried.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't catch that part, but I do kind of like that touch. It's subtle, so subtle. I fucking missed it.
It's because no one pays attention. That was the point.
I was on TikTok. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was on Bad Relationship TikTok. Did some more research.
I was scrolling. Sorry, I didn't hear that I might be pregnant.
Oh.
So yeah, the big conclusion is that while Cece pretends to take like a little bit of a bathroom break, she slips on the suit and pretty much does to Adrian what Adrian did to her sister, which is
Yep.
just cuts his throat. And I remember, Alyssa, you thought there might have been like a third person for a second there.
Yeah, it seemed. Yeah. It seemed that way.
It seemed like a little fast that like Cece would don the suit and like immediately take it off and like dial 911 like all within like 10 seconds.
Like, did James put on a suit and kill this dude? Like, what? Yeah. But then you realize.
Honestly, I think that would have been like I mean, like it would take away from the fact that Cece finally gains control of her life.
Yeah.
She's free from her abuser. In fact, she stops the abuse right then and there. But it would have been a fun twist to have James be the one to like kill him.
Yeah.
be like.
Then you're like, dang, and now I gotta be afraid of another guy in a suit. Fuck.
Yeah, it's
3 times.
It's possible. Maybe there's some Easter eggs we missed even then. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Didn't we think it might be Sydney? That's my new headcanon.
Punch me in the face. I'll kill you.
This is for beating up my father.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd have been some hard ass shit. I don't know.
Yeah, headcanon. And something backing up just a little bit, but I came up with the brilliant theory that they should have just had thermals on the whole time.
Yeah, thermals would have completely like pretty much like nullified the plot because they would just always know like there's just, like this predator like figurine like it's walking around.
Dude, can you imagine how much heat those cameras gave off? Like, holy fuck, dude, the exhaust.
Yeah, they must have been fucking sweating in those fucking suits for sure, right?
I imagine like there's an exhaust pipe coming out their butts. And like
you just hear in the darkness this from the cameras and you just hear a little fart.
Yeah, it's like a hot fart.
Ew. Trapped in the suit with it.
Coming out of an exhaust pipe. And like, I don't know. I guess, there's like steam coming out of like nowhere.
Like in that scene in the rain where you see the breath, it's just the ass. Ass air.
Yeah, that wasn't the breath. That was just him farting in Cece's direction.
He's like, finally, we're outside.
He's leaking coolant everywhere. Radiator fluid.
That's what Aqua calls farting, you guys.
I mean, I'm
He's
just saying
leaking
it's a
coolant.
sci-fi
Leaking the
suit.
coolant.
It's a suit, so I thought maybe there'd be some sci-fi exhaust things going on.
I know.
Plus farting. No, I believe there'd be. I think it would come out as a fart, but it would be a sci-fi fart. It'd be like
A sci-fi fart. Yeah. And then when he
Electric
walks, it's
fart.
like bionic legs. It's like you always hear him. He's here.
Yeah, no, there probably was like little, like, yeah, it's funny when like he accidentally made the soup with like little beeps and boops when things happen. He's like, oh, fuck. Like,
And they
yeah, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but like, yeah, like that would be super user unfriendly when there'd be no like sound to it. He just. How would he even know that like they went out, like the suit goes out? I guess he'd see himself, but I don't know, maybe in the dark or
Yeah,
can
he
he
has to
see
like
himself?
check a mirror like every 10 minutes to make sure the shoot's like still charged up.
And like,
And
yeah,
I
not,
know.
like,
I was thinking
slowly
about that powering
failing.
down. Like, would it become slightly visible then, like when it starts to die?
and like,
It has one of those like Bluetooth like AirPod like powering
Yeah.
on.
right,
Connected, Bluetooth connected.
Yeah, someone's playing Dr. Dre out of his suit from the parking lot.
What if he?
Damn it! Why did I add this feature?
What if he accidentally installed Alexa and then somebody said, "Hey Alexa"?
Hey Alexa, where's the
Turn-
invisible guy?
Turn off soup.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
No.
Those are good points. I don't know. I think I don't know. It would have gotten hot. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
get over that part. But no,
Yeah,
it was
for
sci-fi.
sure.
It had a good touch of sci-fi in it.
Maybe it had a fan in it, like one of those mascot things
Right.
at
Like the
Disneyland.
big floaty one, or like the sumo suits. Just, like, a
Yeah.
fan going
Just constantly.
on. Or like Adrian, like constantly, like when he wasn't watching CZ, he'd just be by the AC in the house like the whole
That's
time.
good,
Just
yeah.
Good.
like, oh yes.
Just have like a little
Some
by his
relief.
neck. Oh, God.
Oh.
Or like he was like a chain smoker, so like every time they're completely like asleep, he's just outside
Yep.
like smoking, like with the suit off. He's like one of those performers you see at Chuck E. Cheese on their break.
Yes.
Head off.
Just
It's
taking
a
the head
floating
off,
head,
yeah.
With the head
a
off.
floating head with a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, floating Adrian.
And then the
Smoking.
sometimes the cigarette floats away from his mouth.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
because
God.
I was thinking he probably would have to go through a learning curve. Like if he really can't see himself, he'd be tripping over stuff all the time.
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
You
Yeah.
don't realize how much of spatial awareness
Yeah.
is you like tracking your own like ligaments, right?
Well,
Your
right.
hands, your feet, right?
Imagine if you're just two
Like
floating
as you're
eyeballs.
moving.
You know what would get me caught? My knees pop constantly.
I know what you mean.
I would immediately.
I had a
would be
roommate
like,
in college that every time he got out, I was pop 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 pop. It's like, bro.
Yep. It's my hips and knees. They would have known immediately it was
Mhm.
me.
Alyssa, it sounds like
Dang
Alyssa's knees.
Alyssa, she's watching.
Damn
Always
it.
watching.
Ugh, gotta lubricate my kneecaps or something.
Hello. Get some olive oil.
WD-40.
Yeah.
Like the Tin Man. She's one like bad like rainfall away from just rusting up.
Oh God.
He would,
Yep.
Adrian would like unironically need that for some of those, like you say, for the servos.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's actually true, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you could hear him throughout the house. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't the floorboards.
even
It was
worse.
just his cameras like going off because
didn't
they
clean
just
'em up
kept like
after the
scraping
rain.
against the suit.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then yeah. I just like the idea of him like oh, you can hear he realizes that she can hear the cameras. Like I know this didn't happen, but that would have been a good plot point. So you see him in the middle of the kitchen instead of the knife. It's like the bottle of olive oil, and you can see it like getting dripped in.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, that's better. But then all of a sudden and then like for a while there's like this weird outline of like oil, but then it like seeps in.
That's also another thing I remember talking about when we were watching it. Is like after the paint scene, like how the fuck did he?
Oh,
wash
yeah, he
himself
washed it
off
instantly.
so fucking quickly.
I know.
Like the sink turns on, right? And weirdly enough, the camera cuts to it. But then like when you get closer, there's paint in it. So obviously like he's like
Yeah,
he
he
like
did.
washed himself like
Hurry.
an insane amount, like
No, he had.
and completely apparently because like you
Yeah.
know
There's
the
nothing.
paint
was
doesn't
about-
mess up any of the cameras or whatever.
It was about 10 seconds, right? And they are. Yeah, apparently all those cameras are waterproof.
Yeah,
I-
like Adrian's a genius for that suit because holy shit, supernatural, honestly.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and like I guess how the movie goes, you're right. Like he really did only have like 10 seconds because like the water turns on and she's like in the like doorway of like the other room and she
Right,
walks
she's
like
freaking out, right? She's like looking for him,
yeah,
like actively,
and like she
'cause
takes
she
like
knows now
5
she's not
steps
crazy.
after the water turns on and she looks at the
Yeah.
and it's already full and like nothing's moving, no water's moving. So like yeah, he washed off in 10 seconds. Although I guess I could like buy that like maybe she didn't go into the room like that second. Maybe it did take her like a minute to walk over there. We just didn't like see it, or she was like super scared and she was freaking out or something and she didn't go right away. But yeah, plus I guess I don't know what she even do. I guess she probably just wanted to see like if she saw the water moving, I guess then she'd know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like, I think she was just trying to like not like she's trying to confirm she's not crazy. There's actually somebody just
Right.
watching me the
Someone's
whole time. Right?
Yeah. God, that'd be fucking terrifying. Because, like, I was thinking, too, remember, I was like, at first you think it's a ghost. Like, oh my God, his bitch ass is, like, really haunting me. And then you're like, oh, no, he's an optics guy. Like, he did something. He's actually here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was creepy. Like, when he's standing on the sheet and you see the footprint, that's when I was like, oh my God, this could...
Scene.
Yeah, this could easily be like a haunted film,
Yeah.
you know, but you're like, no, it's actually him and it's so much worse than that.
kind of definitely had like a Haunting of Hill House vibe or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. What was? Oh yeah, I was just gonna say something about the end. Oh yeah, I mean at the very end, she did seem to be kind of. What was the kind of final shot? She was just kind of like she seemed very
Walks off with the
self-satisfied.
suit.
What? Oh what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she so in the end, right, she cuts Adrian's throat. She takes the dog with her, and
Right.
like a little bit of symbolism there. Like she finally is able to take off the shock collar from Zeus, and like you know, like the dog is also free.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she basically tells James like he killed himself. It's like I don't know
How
what you
about
want me to do.
The damnedest thing
It's
just
funny,
happened.
like they were trying to like. Yeah, they were trying to like incriminate him, right? Because James was in the car listening to the you know the wire that she had, but like she wasn't taking any chances with her life, with you know the people she cared about,
With
what was
Zeus's
left of them
life.
in her life.
Mhm.
Zeus's life, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and like complete like does to Adrian what she did to his sister, and he like oh like she finally got her control back, right?
Mhm.
Like I mentioned earlier, I wrote down like she's finally free in my notes,
Mhm.
cause like she doesn't have to deal with Adrian or the brother at all. Like yeah, and the final shot is her like yeah being contempt, like or just being like happier, right? That her abuser is like finally out of her life and like confirmed this time, like by her own hand.
Right.
She knows that he can never come back to like haunt her or abuse her
She's
again.
in
Like,
control now.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
can kind of see like bits like in Act 2 of when Adrian's like dead, like confirmed dead by the brother. Like she's not so scared anymore. She's like talking to people like more often. Like she's ready to like move on with her life. And
Right.
I thought that final scene was like a good representation of her like actually doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts, maybe. Once again, I did think it was a well done movie, and like I said, I think it had a lot of good film techniques in it. It did, and yeah, at the end, it was a satisfying conclusion without being like overly like cheesy. I mean, it was kind of one of those like
Yeah, no, actually, like, one of the things, like, I got from one of the interviews is, like, there's no, like, big action, like, set piece. She's not, like,
Yeah.
final showdown. She's not, like, holding knives and paint, right? And running through the house
Right.
trying to find Adrian
Two
to, like,
guns.
fight him
Ta,
into,
ta,
like,
ta.
a fist fight. It's a very, like, intimate dinner
Yeah,
scene
no,
that,
that's a good
like,
point.
concludes very quickly. with him like slicing his own neck, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Quotation marks. So I thought that was good.
Good point.
Just like a little bit of sorry, I don't know.
No,
if
you're
done or
you're
not,
good. Go for it.
Aqua. Okay.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. I think like having a low budget like help them. Lee and the other writer director like mentioned like having a low budget was good because like let's take away all the special effects and all like the fun stunts we do, like the only thing like we really cared about was like the characters and the whole drama of it all, right? About the abuse, about how like how the actors like portrayed their characters, right? Like less about set pieces and more about like the people in the story.
Yeah. Psychological more than anything. Like it's supposed to put you in the mindset of like, God, you just can't fucking get away from him. It's just never gonna stop. And then you get that satisfaction at the end, like, oh fuck, he's finally gone. It's like you said, she's finally free. It's like you kind of hold your breath a bit in the movie, thinking like, wow, he's really gonna kill her. And dealing with the stress of him, doing everything to everyone else, and she's so helpless. Like, it definitely portrays what it feels like to be in that kind of relationship where like everything is just falling apart around you and you can do nothing about it, seemingly. So I love that at the end where they she kind of tried to give him a bit of a chance to like admit it, but I think ultimately she knew like she was just gonna have to end it.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks Adrian did nothing wrong?
Am I the asshole?
Guys, I think he was.
Was Zeus the actual asshole?
Right.
Was he the third person with the suit? He's the mastermind. The dog is completely orchestrating
He's
everything.
a robot. Fine.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, that would be two out of like Adrian needing to control things that even the dog would be like robotic or like
Yeah.
Right.
only subservient
Optical.
to him, right?
A hologram.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
My robo dog.
Adrian was a sympathetic character. Changed my mind.
He just
I
wanted
would love
to love
to
her
see
in her
the
brain.
Tragic
you
hero.
mentioned like college class, the writing class, right? I'd love to see like someone's paper on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That
tragic
Adrian
hero.
was actually the good guy. The tragic hero. This brilliant scientist killed by his own
By
wife.
that
How
bee of
could
a
she?
wife.
Yeah. Why she deserved it. My own perspective.
Like, he tried to make amends in death. He like gave her a money inheritance. Like I can't believe that.
She squandered it immediately to some child. Yeah. No wonder he punched her in the face. That wasn't her money. Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts?
I thought,
Nope.
just to wrap up, just to kind of have the thing. I mean, I think we kind of finished that. We also watched a little short video
Yes! I
after
wanted to
the
talk about that.
movie. I thought maybe Legion might want to just shout that out real quick. It was good, and it was interesting because Alyssa couldn't see it. Go, you can explain it though.
I'm fucking blind. You okay?
To be fair, so like since it was like a horror night and like we kind of the movie was actually pretty what's it called? Actually, it was pretty quick. We watched like a little short horror film that I love. It's a Portrait of God by
Yes.
Dylan Clark. It was like it's funny enough. It plays into the optical thing because
Yes.
not to explain the whole entire like behind the scenes, but that horror short was made during the whole dress thing, right? Where people saw different colors of dress. And it was different for everybody, right? Whether it was like a gold and white dress or a blue and black one.
Right.
But it plays into the fact that we'll all experience things like in different ways. We might not always see the same things that everyone else sees. Just by factor, like I saw the Portrait of God the entire time. Alyssa didn't see it so much, and Aqua only kind of saw it. So we all like had different perspectives of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And that kind of played into the Invisible Man, in which like he was invisible and like only Cece's fully aware that he's there, and everyone else sees a different thing. In
Like, what are
fact,
you
they
talking
see
about?
nothing of him.
Mhm.
So that was me just dropping a little short film
Yeah, it was
in
relevant.
with our watch party. 'Cause,
It was really cool. Definitely, Legion will link that for you guys. I hope you see it, because I fucking didn't.
Good one. Cool.
But dang, like I love talking about movies, and by Aqua's choice, we are going to watch Children of Men for our next movie
Oh,
club.
hell yeah.
I don't know when that's gonna come out
Yeah.
or this episode, but I haven't watched it in a while. Really loved it. It's one of Aqua's favorite
Mhm.
movies, and I don't think Alyssa. I don't think
I've
you've
not seen it.
Children of Men.
Yeah, so it's kind
So,
of it's another kind of range
yeah.
of perspective.
Right.
Yeah,
And I've been
weirdly enough.
instructed not to watch a trailer, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
there's no
and
reason to.
I only kind of remember it, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little bit of a new experience for me as well.
Yeah, I know we talked about movies on another podcast, and in the pre-show, Legion was like, "You're going to talk about Children of Men, I bet." And then I don't know if I even brought it up when it
I don't
came
think it was
crunch time.
on your list.
We got onto other sort of things, and but no, it genuinely is one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie. It's definitely top 5 for sure, top 3. I don't know, but
yeah.
yeah,
I'm excited to see that one, and Late Night with the Dead.
The Devil.
We watched that trailer as well. Late Night with the Devil, yes.
It does look good. I like it.
We watched that trailer again before or after we watched Invisible Man. My memory's
we also
not great.
watched like the
Long Legs.
the long legs.
Mhm.
Long
Dude,
Legs,
that,
yes.
sorry, I know we're wrapping up soon, but yeah, that
Yeah.
trailer
That's all good.
kind of like that made me uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch this movie.
Yeah, so we have some movie reviews on the horizon, guys.
Yeah, what Legion named the channel what? Movie Lords. I like it.
Movie Lords. That's right, because we're experts.
I don't know if that's. I don't know exactly what that means, but I like it.
Yeah,
You think that's it?
I think
That's
so.
it.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening to Every Frame of Pause. I mean, forget we said that. I guess, yeah, that's it. My name is Relytan, and sometimes it's Aqualung.
That's right. I'm always Alyssa Riot.
And I am Legion Lion at Legion Lion on Twitch. I haven't been streaming because I've been under the weather, but I'm gonna get back to it as soon as possible. Actually, I might stream after this because I'm feeling a little bit better. But yeah, come check me out on my channel. I'm usually on late nights. So if you have trouble sleeping, just join Alyssa and use it to fall asleep too.
Hell yeah.
And if you stay long enough, he'll link his OnlyFans.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'm heading over
Only
now.
if you tip like $10.
And the podcast. I'm going over to his channel right now.
Right now.
All right, everybody.
All right, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.